it makes you think twice about like wasting time on Instagram or Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just wasted $100
Right.
of my time. Like,
Right.
Welcome to Streams of Income with self-help author Ryan Rieger.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Streams of Income radio show. I'm your host, Ryan Rieger, and today we are chatting with my friends and Legends members, Jason and Haiti Marshall. They literally started out with $0, but also we are doing an insane promotion for our Legends community, a $1 45-day trial. And what's significant about this is that our Q4 groups start up in mid-September. So if you jump in now into our Legends community, you'll get the Q4 groups for free. You can even test out the Q4 groups as well during this 45-day trial because it overlaps. And now if you decide not to continue in Legends, you wouldn't be in the Q4 groups either. You could pay for that separately. But as a Legends member, you get free access to the Q4 groups. So this is an insane promotion, one that we have never done before, might not ever duplicate. And this promotion ends on next Sunday evening. So jump in there. The link will be in the show notes, but it's amzlegends.com/45DAY, amzlegends.com/45DAY to get you that insane $1 45-day trial and also access to the beginning of our Q4 groups just in the trial. Where are you guys from? How'd you get started on this journey, your business journey? You can go back before that if you want anything relevant. We just love hearing Legends folks' stories. So,
well, I'm originally from the Richmond, Virginia area, and we're still in Central Virginia in a town called Chester. And so yeah, I grew up here. I went to elementary school, middle school, high school in this area, and grew up in the church. I wasn't a PK or anything like that, but eventually became pastor in the church for all my time at Oral Roberts University.
Yeah.
And then 3 years after the youth pastor thing, I met Haiti, and she was actually one of my youth leaders. And then after that, started dating, got married. And we just celebrated 10 years of marriage.
Yep.
Awesome. Congratulations.
and then for me, I'm from Panama. So grew up there, came here right to Richmond. I was about 8. And then like Jason said, we met at church. And I come from a large family. I'm the third of 9.
Wow.
So we were enjoying just being a part of the church. And then God called Jason, called us out of ministry. And we thought it's going to be so easy just finding another job. He went to Oral Roberts University. He had a 4-year degree. So we were like, it's going to be so easy.
I just figured, 13 years in one job, of course, everybody's going to hire me.
Right. What was your degree in?
Communications.
Okay.
So it's like a business communications degree.
Yeah.
Officially, my major was organizational interpersonal communications.
Okay.
I don't know what that really means, to be honest with you. They changed the name of it now.
What kind of job, like if you were really looking for a job right now, what kind of skills, what kind of jobs does that translate to?
It's like HR and like human resources and
dealing with numbers.
Yeah, public speaking. I had a lot of public speaking classes.
Okay.
And I had always had like a side job, working from home, watching children, that sort of thing. But then I kind of got out of the house to start working once he left the ministry, and kind of put out there on Facebook through a Dave Ramsey group about side hustles, and got in contact with Silent Sales Machine, and here we are.
Awesome. You're one of the ones that, Dave Ramsey's group. We have a lot of people that come our way through that group. That's awesome. Yeah. Did you have some reserve cash that you were able to help live on, or were you just able to just make money with those Uber Eats, DoorDash type stuff?
Yeah, we had saved some money.
Yeah. And we, because of our lifestyle with Dave Ramsey, like we've always been very frugal, very like we budget pretty tightly. So that's definitely one thing I'll give as a tip for those that are doing, the community is try to have your finances in order, because when you're trying to have a business in order, If you can have your finances in order, your personal finances, your budget, it helps so much because you already have that mindset of, not spending too much, saving for when the months are tight.
Right.
So yeah, that helped us a lot.
That's awesome. So you found Jim in our community, My Silent Team community, through Dave Ramsey's group. And so you just, did you go into the My Silent Team group and kind of hang out for a little bit, or what was your first product you purchased? You proved an Amazon course or coaching or Legends or what?
Well, yeah, we hung out in the Facebook group. We listened to a ton of podcasts. I mean, we drove a lot. He drove. I drove like an hour every night to go to work. And so we just listened to those podcasts all the time. They were great. And then the first thing we purchased was actually the training, right?
Yep, we did the advanced replints training.
Oh, yeah.
In person.
Oh, that's right.
We did.
Jimmy said that he came and taught you guys, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, right from scratch. We knew a little bit about selling on Amazon, but we jumped in pretty cold, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I barely knew what an ASIN was.
Yeah.
When we did the
you said you knew a little about Amazon. What was your experience on Amazon or e-commerce prior to that?
We didn't have Prime. We hardly shopped on Amazon, because of our budget. We were just very we don't need to do anything extra.
Sure.
So we were not really Amazon users. We didn't know much about the business. And the first products I sourced were just books from around the house.
Perfect.
I sold my Dave Ramsey book, and that sold really fast.
That's awesome.
Because
that gave you the confidence. You're like, okay, this works.
Yeah.
This something. I sold something.
Yeah. And then I was like, okay, financial books sell fast. Diet books sell fast. I went to Goodwill's in the area, did the scanning. I watched YouTube videos to also kind of help me give me tips on books. And it helped a lot. It built my confidence up.
Yeah.
And just knew that, okay, things could sell. I could just send things in. There might be still some books on the Amazon shelves. I don't know.
Right. How much of it you guys think, just a side question, just thinking for everybody else, how much of it do you think this is just a confidence issue versus a knowledge issue?
Mindset, confidence.
Yeah, I think it's confidence a huge piece of it.
Yeah.
Because it really is a simple business model. I mean, there isn't like this complicated set of skills that you have to learn to be able to do business. Now, if you really want to grow the business, when we're in the advanced replints mastermind right now, and that does take some growing skills, some things you have to develop. But to get started, I mean, you don't need a lot of money. You definitely need the right mindset.
Yeah.
And you definitely need to have confidence that I can do this.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But you're just like, I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to find a book that sells. I'm going to find a product that sells. We went to sourcing at 2 stores today. The first one, not so great. The second one, better luck. Not luck, but we found more products. So it's just like, okay, I'm going to find products. This is where the Lord has me, and it's for a reason. Just pep talk yourself up.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Where God guides, he provides.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, if you know you're in the right place, you're supposed to be doing this business, just trust him to provide you. I remember one time, I don't know if you guys remember this or how long ago it's been since I mentioned this story, but it was a Q4 one year, walking into a world market. Do you guys have those in Virginia?
I don't know.
Don't think so.
It's a place where you can go in there and find all kinds of things from around the world, like furniture and food, like packaged type food, like cookies and tea, and from all over the world. And so we walked into this huge store. I had no idea where to even start. It was Black Friday, and I'm like, where do I go? Everything's on sale. So I just prayed, Lord, show me the good stuff. Yeah. And I remember that prayer, and it wasn't like I heard an audible voice. I said, go to the back of the store. I just kind of felt led to go to the back of the store. I had like a hunch. So I went to the back of the store, and there was a whole wall of tea. And the brand was called Tea Forte, Forte. It was all buy one, get one half off, which wasn't a huge sale. But when we started, and this was before reverse sourcing days, before we knew to do reverse sourcing, we just were scanning the barcodes, and we bought thousands of dollars worth of tea in that day. And we continued to sell that tea for a long time. But he'll show you where it is.
Yes. It's just having that confidence. And even when the whole day you might only get one thing, like go back the next day, keep going.
Absolutely.
I did take a couple of weeks off from sourcing because I was very nauseous in the beginning of the pregnancy, and
Right.
you do get rusty after a while,
Yeah.
like I did. So you got to keep it up.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a good tip. So did you guys start with things around your house because you wanted to start this with no money down, or because you needed to, or
We really wanted to learn how to do the model.
yeah.
We were listening to every single podcast.
Wow.
So we'd hear what the things that Jim would talk about on the podcast and say, yeah, let's just start with what we see in the house.
Yes.
But this was no money down, and that's basically really what Haiti did. At that point, I was listening to the podcast.
Okay.
And we heard about replants, but
Yeah.
not. We hadn't really started yet.
Yeah, we knew we wanted to get both in and make it turn into a business and not just like
Yeah.
a side thing.
That's awesome. So how long have you been, when was that when you sold that first book?
It was
Probably October 2019.
yeah.
2019. Okay. And do you mind sharing like what your sales are like right now? Last 30 days?
Well, we're definitely not where we were.
No.
I'll admit that.
No.
We had peaked. I won't say exactly where we're at right now, but I will say we peaked. We were averaging about 20,000 a month for several months.
That's awesome. So the reason I asked you, because it doesn't matter what you say, whether you say it was 5,000 or 50,000 or 500,000 a month. It's the fact that you started with $0 and you're at 20 some thousand a month. That's incredible. And
yeah, it is, right.
it gives people hope that like, hey, I don't have to start this business with tens of thousands of dollars. You can if you want, but literally if you're sitting there and you're trying to scrimp, you need to, or you just want to, either you have to go the low risk route, or you need to, because you just don't have anything. You literally can grab things around your home like you did and see what sells, and stuff will sell. Sell it on Facebook Marketplace, sell it on eBay if you have to, or get that money, then pour it into Amazon, do the replens model. But I love that how you did that. I love your story, and love that you treated it as a business right from the beginning. It wasn't just you were just trying this thing, but you still started off small, but with the mindset of knowing that, hey, this is what we're doing. That's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. It was good because we needed to start where we were.
Yeah.
We needed to explore, because I've listened to the first few podcasts and I'm like, what are they talking about? It was an inspirational, but
yeah,
like I was saying earlier, it took me a long time to figure out what ASIN was.
Well,
yeah,
like you were saying, Ryan, like it's important to remember where we came from. It's kind of like sharing our testimony and
yes,
just remembering when we hope to get 500 a month, when we hope to
right.
get 1,000 a month, and yeah, it's so important to just remember where we all start from, how far we've come.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. I wrote an email a couple of weeks ago called, I think, something about look where you are, or look around you or something. Cause it's so easy to bury our head down, and we're all climbing up this mountain, and it's so easy to look down and not look around because we're so busy just trying to climb up and get to that next level of sales or wherever we are in our business. You sometimes just got to stop and look how far you've came. Like, oh my gosh, like look where we are now. Like if you go back to yourself, in August of 2019, for example, and if you could tell yourselves then where you are now, you'd probably be like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. That's so cool. Can't believe it. It's so easy to get down at it right now. And you might look at somebody who's doing 200,000 a month and thinking, we're failures. We're not doing anything. What are we doing? Why are we even doing this? But resist that. Get rid of that mindset where you're comparing against other people. You're on your own race, you're on your own journey, and just be thankful for where you are, because it's so far above where you started, which is cool.
Yeah.
Right. And if you don't have a lot of money, invest your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't have a lot of time, invest your money.
Absolutely.
Just figure out, what do you have in your hands that you can utilize.
Yeah. So how long did you do the books?
Actually, not very long.
I think we did like 10 books.
I think I just did that first shipment.
Okay.
Boxes, and then that was it. Then after that, I was like, should I continue? Got him on board, and then we just jumped right into the training. So
for us, the real turning point was when Jimmy did the podcast with Jim about the we'll fly to your hometown.
Yeah.
I think right around episode 242, 243.
Yeah. Did you know immediately when you listened to that you needed to sign up for that?
It was definitely. It was a God thing. We had actually called for coaching, and we just couldn't agree. We were like, we were bickering with each other. There was no peace.
Yeah.
And then this coaching opportunity came up, and I thought, I'm going to ask him, but he probably will say no. I don't know what's going to happen. And he was just on board from the beginning. So I was like, well, that's why we couldn't agree for the first coaching, because God wanted us to take this coaching.
Yes.
And we really needed the hands-on training. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't know anything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we just felt like, it's worth it at this point. We know what we're doing. We've heard about the opportunities in community.
Yeah.
Just want to figure out where to start.
Yeah.
And we wanted to start on the right foot, in such a way that we knew if we make this investment, it's going to pay off in the long run.
Awesome. So you can point back to that one move right there that launched you for real.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's cool.
And then there was December 2019 that we were in the stores with Jimmy and Brittany.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
And we did Dollar Tree and
Mhm.
two other
Big chain.
stores. Yep.
Yeah, Walmart.
Yep.
And great. It's just nice to be able to have that experience, and then we can help others, and just say, just keep it up. It's very kind of boring standing there, but it's worth it.
Heidi's stated goal to Jimmy at that time was that you wanted to be on the podcast.
Yeah, I had shared that with Jimmy originally, and that was an opportunity we got to be with Jim.
Awesome.
That was on, I think, episode 336.
Okay.
Was that episode?
Okay.
336, January 2021.
Awesome. I love it. Love it. Very cool. I've been on his podcast too, and it's fun. It's just kind of like, wow. Because I got into this business because of Jim too. And it's like, to be on his podcast is like, wow, so cool,
Yeah. And I heard your podcast with him in the beginning. And you won that contest or, whatever.
Yep. That was like my turning point, just like your turning point with, it was a big investment for me too.
Yeah.
And so that I can definitely point back to that. It was like the start of the journey.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. So how long did you, or tell me about that training with them in person? Was there a light bulb moment, or what did you feel like you got from that was like so changed your business?
We learned the foundation for how to do reprints.
Okay.
So a lot of times you can do reprints and not know if you're doing it the right way. You could do it the wrong way for a long time. It's kind of like, I could put it this way. Let's say you have a really difficult homework assignment and you don't know if you're doing it right, and you do it all. And then the next day you get to class, you find out you did the whole thing wrong. It's lots of things you could have done differently.
Yes.
Definitely that way with math, right?
Okay.
If you can't do the math correctly, you do all your homework wrong. You just wasted it.
Right.
We knew that we wanted to do it the right way.
We didn't want to waste our time.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was the value of the training right there. So make sure that we put all the foundations in place. So number one was all about sourcing the first day.
Yeah.
So we sourced about 75 products that day, 76 products.
Wow.
We had done some training online with the Keepa, but just to have that person to person, like looking at the chart, yes for this graph, just yes for this product, no for this product. This is why I think no, this is why I think yes. It just helped us so much.
It only took us about 2 or 3 hours to really get it.
And I will say, like I said, we budgeted for our family finances, but we did take out a loan for this training because there are some things that we're adults and we're like, this is what we're going to do for our business, for our family. And, every person has to decide that for their business, for themselves. If you're going to take out a business loan, or if you're going to wait and save up, I think it's very important to just decide that for yourself and for your business.
Yeah. Did you guys use any credit cards all at the beginning? I know you're Dave Ramsey people, so you probably didn't, but maybe
Dave Ramsey people, but we're not. We do believe in credit cards.
We're not letter of the law. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So have you used credit cards in your business at all?
We have.
Yeah.
We actually basically didn't really convert the credit card, but we still use the one credit card that we have open.
Nice.
But we just use it for business. We don't use it for anything else.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm looking at changing credit cards now. In terms of the state of the business that we're in, we do need to move to more of a business credit card so that we can start thinking about, if we have a shopper for us, what credit card they can be using.
Yeah. Has that really helped you? I assume it's probably helped you grow your business by being able to use that credit card.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
And
What about,
we
tell me about the folks who like, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we always pay it off. We don't leave a balance on there.
Mhm.
When it's time to pay it, we make sure it's paid before the deadline.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've always been able to pay it off on time in terms of not having extra balance or looking for
Sure.
extra.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a personal decision that everybody has to make. I mean, yeah, we use business credit cards in our business, and we leverage them and get points and travel the world for free. And so there's that whole aspect. But yeah, if it's almost like a drug though. You got to be careful. You can get in big trouble. So if you know that it's like having a loaded gun,
Yeah.
you may want to stay away from it. But if you can use it responsibly, then it's definitely an awesome tool in your arsenal to grow your business quicker.
And like I said, like we're so frugal and we budget so tightly that we're able to manage it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think anyone who's considering about credit card, look at your personal past history on credit cards. If you've had a history where you're having trouble paying out credit cards, it may not be a good idea for you to go that route.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say you want to be very careful about that.
Yeah. You definitely want to be careful about that. And even taking out loans, like you might need to do some other side jobs because you don't want to get into a hole that you can't get out of fairly quickly.
Right. Absolutely. Jason, how soon did it take you to look at what she was doing? Like, oh, I'm on that. I'm going to quit the Uber Eats thing and go all in on the Amazon business.
Sure. It took me from the time we did the training to this past January to really transition from doing that to doing something full time. Now, I will say, because we slowed down, I'm actually doing Uber Eats again because that's just part of the journey that we're on right now.
Sure.
I do think building a business, I know the people who succeed is not the people who are doing it full time necessarily. It's how do you handle the valley? You've got to get through the valley.
Yep.
Because that's just part of the journey.
Yep.
And that's how you train others. You got to know how to handle the high points and the low points.
Sure.
To work your way through it.
Yeah, things definitely get slower in the summer. That's just normal. But Q4 is around the corner, so just hang on. Everything.
One thing I will say, we definitely rode the COVID wave.
Yes.
I mean,
what was your business like last year during COVID? Did it just explode?
Yeah.
It absolutely exploded. It exploded when that lockdown happened initially. So that we went from like $5,000 to $12,000.
Oh my gosh.
And then when we peaked out in January, we were at 31,000. And that's, of course, that's when the second big lockdown happened. In January. We stayed up there until things started opening up again.
Yeah. Wow.
And I will say, like, don't stop sourcing, because I was kind of like, we're good, I don't have to really source.
Yep.
But that was a no.
Yes.
Always source new products.
Yeah, Kate's on here. She would tell you the same thing. You got to keep feeding the beast. You stop shipping out stuff, your checks start getting lower and lower.
Yes.
And really, for us, it wasn't so much that we weren't sourcing or shopping. It's just we were doing so much shopping. We didn't have much time sourcing anymore.
Yeah.
So, and that's true for, as a business grows, in the beginning, you want to source 30 new replens a month, 30 replens 30 days. Improvements, if you wanted to grow, you've got to do that in the beginning. But, if you're doing 30,000 a month, you need to be thinking about, okay, how much sourcing is it going to take to keep that up? 30 replens isn't going to do it.
Right.
Probably need to at least 60, maybe even 100 products every month to be able to keep up what you're doing, because it's just a matter of scale.
Absolutely.
Small business doesn't. It's not going to be as hard to build up your sales as you're growing up here. It's going to take a lot more sourcing in order to keep it out. Yep.
Yeah. Are you guys doing everything all in house, shipping, prepping, all that yourself?
Everything. Yep. Everything's right here in this house. Actually, it's in this room that we're sitting in right now. Got 3 shelves stacked up with stuff right now.
Okay.
Working on this with more stuff. I'm going to go buy a little more tomorrow.
All right.
We have 2 teenagers from our church that help us.
Oh, nice.
And then we have our teenager, our daughter. She also helps when she's able to. So we do have some hands. And now that the brothers can pretty much send out a shipment on their own, Jason's going to source when they're here, because, it's like, well, they're handling that, we're paying them. So now we got to make some more money, and he's going to source and I'm going to stay here, supervise and that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
We definitely had some ABCs that we wanted to make sure we share tonight.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
So we've been sharing a story. We wanted to make sure everybody had a chance, an opportunity to remember, I guess three points here. I guess it's the pastor and me coming up with ABCs.
Do it. The 3 points. Everybody open your Bibles.
Yeah, that's right. All right. That actually opens us up to our first point. The A is always be looking for new streams of income, new income streams. And, obviously in the replens model, you always need to be looking for new products.
Yep.
Right? So, but once you've got that business established, you need to be thinking about private label. You should be thinking about sale. You should be thinking about whether or not you want to be coaching. When I transitioned out of ministry, the first thing I had to figure out is what am I going to do? So my brother, I have an identical twin actually. His name's Kevin. And he's actually an SEO specialist. He pointed out a book to me that everybody should read. If he's been on the podcast for years.
Oh yeah, my gosh, he's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, Dan Miller.
Yes.
Right? So Dan Miller was actually on one of the podcasts.
Yeah.
And with Jim.
Yeah.
And that book just really talks about how to find work. It has to do with work ethic. Dan's got all kinds of income streams. He's actually got a mastermind group. If you're interested in finding a mastermind group to join, he does that. You can get on his email list. I still get his emails all the time.
Yep.
And but you need to be thinking about, okay, what other income streams are there out there?
Yeah.
You might share.
Yeah, I know in the Legends conference, I gave a lot of my ideas.
Yeah, we can talk about that too. Flesh out that more. If there's any other things you want to chat about, we can do that right here if you want.
No, but I mean, I think with all of us who are entrepreneurs and business owners, like we just have so many ideas, and kind of don't stop there. Keep looking out your ideas and searching them out, and finding those products, but also what else does God have for you?
Yes.
Whether it may be starting a YouTube channel with steps on how to do something, or a podcast. So I think that's just our big thing is always look for other ways to provide income.
Yeah, I mean, even for me, like, I said I had to go back out to do Uber Eats and DoorDash and Grubhub, and I told my brother also told me about that. Yeah. And I told him the other day, hey, I gave myself a raise. I went out and went to a higher income area, and I'm actually doing better out there.
Nice.
I just had to think like a business person. Where's the money?
Yes.
Where's the best place to be? And
absolutely.
Just want to be a little bit more intentional about how I spend my time.
Yeah.
I actually think this kind of life maybe isn't for everyone, though. Not everyone wants to be out there like looking for something else to do or hustling, and that's fine. Someone might just want to work under someone and, not have to deal with all this kind of hustle and bustle, and that's fine too. But if you do like it, if it does excite you, then keep it up.
Right. That sometimes sounds kind of nice, doesn't it? Like when you have bad days, you're like, man, wouldn't it be nice to go back just to having a regular job? And then at 5 o'clock, I go home. I don't even have to think about my job until the next day. There are some advantages of that for sure, but you're giving up your freedom. And so do you want that? It just really depends. And you're right. My brother is not an entrepreneur at all. He needs that structure. He needs somebody to tell him when to go to work, when to leave, how much time he has off. He thrives under that. He would not do well if he had his own business. And that's just the way he's wired. Right. But I'm wired completely differently. And I'm, glad to be able to do what I do. It's, it's how God made me. So it's fun.
Yeah.
All right. So we went through the A.
I love it.
B is basically be intentional about setting goals. And for us, goals is just a really big one. I think we did talk to you about it, and how, just setting your goal and then kind of working backwards from your goal, and then kind of breaking it down into, okay, this month, I want the end goal to be 4 months from now. So every month what am I going to do to end at that end goal? Yeah. And when we drove home from the Legends conference, I was writing down notes and we were making plans. And we were really like, okay, we have all this information and we got to set goals. We have to figure out step by step how we're going to do these. And for June and July, we said we're going to do 50 replans. We're going to get 50 replans. And we met those goals.
Awesome.
And I think having exactly laid out what you want, putting it up on your wall, just kind of having that reminder is really important. And then just communicating it with your business partner or with an accountability person or with a community.
I love that. Walk me through that. We're about to go into Q4 here pretty soon. It's right around the corner. Somebody, because not everybody is good at goal setting or feel like they're not good at goal setting. So help us, let's talk to somebody who's not at your level, or even if they are, what you just said there, no matter where you are, you're always trying to get to a higher level. What's your goal setting process? What's that look like for you? Because maybe it might be something that somebody else will be like, yes, the way she explained it or the way he explained it makes sense now. I'm going to use that. You do it that way.
Okay. So I think you have to set time to make goals. So you can't just say, I'm going to make a goal and then never set time and actually do it. So your first goal might be to set a goal.
Yeah.
So it might actually be that simple.
Yes.
So, I had a pastor friend of mine who used to use the concept of a crawl, walk, and run. You want to think in terms of crawl, in terms of, okay, crawling is a very, very simple step. So maybe there's a crawl step that you need to make. It could be setting aside 10 minutes just every day this week to see if you can come up 3 goals. And then by the end of the week, you might have like 3 goals. It could be very simple. And maybe one of those steps is really tiny. It's a crawl. One of those steps is more like a walking step. Set a little bit of a bigger goal, and then a running step. And that's kind of be a little bit of a leap of faith.
Yeah. So you have separate, kind of like 3 separate goals for your business.
That's right.
So it might be sales goals. Like for Q4, I want to hit, that my crawl goal would be something I have to hit this. There's just no way I can't hit this. And it's much smaller than your walk and run goals that are.
Yep. Yeah. Basically crawling goals are things just to get you going.
Yeah.
And the running ones are the big goals. So if I'm doing, I don't know, let's say you're doing 4,000 in sales right now. Your goal for next month might be to do 8,000. That's a big jump from 4,000.
Right.
But that might be one step right now.
Yeah.
And so just break it down and okay, so if I have these many ASINs right now, I'm going to need double. And
Yes.
I'm going to take the double amount and break it into 4 weeks. So then
Yes.
and Jimmy and others leaders have explained kind of this process, but sometimes we just need that reminder, like don't look at the huge number of 100 replans, but look at it as like 25 replans, and then actually set days to go and source. I think that's the part that we set these goals and then we just don't set the time to hit the goals. But a goal is really like a dream. You dream about the business that you want, and then like I said, like work backwards.
Because you definitely want to take your dream, you want to turn it into a vision.
Yes.
And a vision includes practical steps.
Yeah.
And so now what are you going to do with those steps? And you have this goal. I want to hit $70 per month. Say there's got to be steps to get there. And it's okay if you don't hit all your goals. You got to celebrate even the small victories.
That's right. I like how you said to break the number of ASINs, because some people will set a sales goal and like, okay, so I'm at 5,000 now and I want to hit 10,000, but that it just stops there because they don't know exactly what that means. So it could be as simple as just doubling the ASINs. It can be more complicated than that if you want to get super complicated about it, but might as well make it simple. I'm selling this many SKUs right now, double that many. That's this many over the next each 4 weeks. And if I might have 2 shopping days, that's that many more, those 2 shopping days. Try to break it down as simple as possible.
Yeah, it's as simple and as little steps, but also give yourself like a little bit of just something higher to shoot for.
Yes.
So maybe ROI has to be 50 or more or 60 or more. Just kind of give yourself, don't just take anything, make your standards a little bit higher.
Right.
Yeah.
You might need to set the right kinds of goals too.
Yeah.
Let's say you want to you're at 4,000 and you want to get to 10,000. well, that might require that you need to invest in some systems to measure your success and how well you're doing.
Yeah.
At some point, if you have, let's say you have more than 100 ASINs, you might need to consider getting a repricer.
Yep.
Because your repricer makes a big difference. But if you have, let's say you already passed that goal and you have 300 ASINs, you might want to have inventory lab to make sure that you're able to manage what you have, get a better read on your numbers, because there are certain limitations that come into play. The more your business grows, your systems and structures that have to be built to sustain what you're doing.
Yeah, and Jimmy talks about those plateaus that they experienced. They had to hire somebody to get over that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And even something like getting inventory lab or getting a software, that can be a goal. Give yourself 3 weeks to research it, make sure your finances are in order. Just give yourself time before you register for that software program, because that goal is going to cost money, So just set yourself up to be successful in it. I think.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
Talk to me about, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so like inventory lab, it's $49 a month. So you definitely, it's worth the investment. It sounds like a lot of money in the beginning. It really pays for itself pretty quickly.
It totally does. Absolutely. Talk to me about Q4 goals. So somebody who's not been through a Q4 before, pretend like we have a whole audience of people listening, like this is going to be their first Q4. And how would you instruct them to, what kind of goal to even set for, let's say that they're all at the $5,000 a month mark right now. Can you have, and I know it's going to be different. Depending on how much time they have set aside and if they have extra cash. So everybody's going to be a different goal, but any kind of a gauge, like for somebody that's never been through a Q4, as far as should my goal be 100,000 a month or should just be double? And let's say that they all kind of had the same amount of time to work on it and they're all kind of equal. So, how would you advise somebody on how to set a goal for Q4 that's never been through it before?
Okay, great. I think I can answer that. So we were, last September, we were doing about 14,000 a month. And we really, honestly, we didn't really prepare so much for Q4. We thought, we gotta, we gotta keep growing, right? And so I would advise somebody right now, you need to be doing a lot of sourcing. Get in the practice of doing a lot of sourcing now, because you're gonna need that discipline from October. Q4 is really starting to ramp up. You're gonna need the discipline to go out and look for those goals. That'll probably be the first one. I think my second one is on a Q4 group. We went from 14,000 in September to 27,000 in December.
Wow.
And that was even without really trying to source more.
Yeah, we didn't really do much to prepare for Q4, like any certain types of products or inventory. We just kind of were like, we're gonna just do the replan model, but we did notice that some items just sold more. So maybe what we'll do is make sure that those items we have plenty in stock. And but I think that was the main thing, is we just kind of kept it even throughout the year without interrupting our normal everyday to focus on Q4, which maybe in the I'm sure we will in the future, but right now we're just like, we just want to keep things going as smoothly as possible.
And I would say too that we our best sourcing months last year were right around September, October.
Okay.
So we saw that we reaped the dividends of that come December. I mean, it made a big difference.
Yeah. So you doubled. So so somebody could, I mean, I'd say safe, but a good goal might be to double what they're currently doing.
Absolutely.
On monthly sales.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's good.
Now's the time to really establish some disciplines about sourcing.
Yeah.
Every business has its seasons, right? So I would say definitely August, September is the time to ramp up your sourcing a little bit, because it's not as busy this time of year, generally speaking.
Yeah. And I would say, I guarantee you guys aren't going out and this is another key point for somebody who maybe has never, the folks in the Legends group that we're talking to right now and other folk, I mean, they know that you're not going out and thinking, ooh, these games right here are going to be hot for Q4. Let's buy a bunch of those and hope it's not speculative. You're just buying more of what's already selling now, because you're just going to sell more of it in Q4.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah. So one of the things we learned last year was certain products that we sell really well during Q4.
Yeah.
we'll be
Yeah.
ready for it this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you going to go back into your inventory and look at what's sold or your past sales and kind of get oh, I forgot about that. Let's be on look out for that when it comes out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we have the replen's dashboard.
Mhm.
The replen's dashboard is great for that because you can
Yeah,
look back at what some of our sales were in the past.
absolutely.
And then you take a look at those sales, and you can use the Amazon seller app too.
Mhm.
We've been selling long enough now; we can see kind of the trends, particularly at best-selling products, how much more they sold back then versus what they sell now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we haven't really sourced many toys. I don't know if I feel like I'm intimidated by toys.
Sure.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, everyone's business is different. Maybe I'll get the confidence to source toys soon. I like smaller things and smaller priced things.
Right. But especially with all the CPC notifications people are getting from Amazon, it's I was just recorded an episode with Jim just yesterday with Honey and Jimmy to talk about the Q4 groups. And they're kind of just predicting no inside knowledge or anything that Jimmy and Jim were saying, somebody in Amazon is going to look at some figure in October or November and like, wow, we're down 48% on toy sales. What's going on? Well, it's because all these crazy violations and CPC requirements. So let's go tell the sellers that they can source toys again. They're just guessing. Nobody knows, but that would be nice. So, yeah.
Well, definitely too. I know, assuming we're not in lockdown mode come December.
Yes.
Amazon's going to be saying, hey, we need to get our sales up. And we know that third-party sellers are people doing the most sales on Amazon.
Yeah.
So I do think it works. It's going to work in our favor. I agree with that.
All right, you got A, B, and what's the C? I love this. I'm glad you guys brought this up.
Okay, so for those who may have missed the early part, let's always look for new income streams. B was be intentional about setting goals, and C is we want to talk about communication.
Communication.
Okay. With your customers, with your business partner, and with your community. The customers, obviously. You want to be able to
be on top of your messages and, reply to customers and reply to Amazon.
But even like the presentation of products, make sure it looks clean. You want it to look professional.
Yeah.
Because that does make a difference. In the grand scheme of things.
Yes.
And then obviously, we have each other for business partners.
Yeah.
So you want to be communicating with each other about, the important things that are coming up. But community, I think the big thing about community for me is you need to have a life outside of Amazon. You don't just live on the computer. And so we just, a few minutes ago, right before we came in here, we were involved in National Night Out.
With our neighborhood, yeah. I mean, we're a family of almost have 5 kids, and so we're very, very busy. And that's why we enjoy this business from home, because we set our own hours. We went to source this morning. Our teenager is really what makes it possible because she babysits for us.
Yeah.
But we're able to do things with our family, like go to a neighborhood event and be a part of the community and just be involved. But also it's important with our Legends Group community and 0 to 100K group. Just be involved. And I know for me, I'm not as involved because just my hands are really full with the kids and everything. But if you're new, if you're definitely having questions, just communication.
You always want to resist isolation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Resist isolation as you get involved in community, both with your customers, with other sellers, and also just the people your neighbors, the people that you live around. Obviously, if you're a believer, you want to be involved in some kind of local church where you can have somebody to talk to and just share life with.
Yeah, and we've had so many. We've had a couple of couples talk to us and want us to help them understand this replens business.
Yeah.
And set up meetings with us, and that's another form of communication. And maybe you can start a training on the side and charge for that because your time is important and valuable. And sure, it's great. Maybe the first initial meeting, just talk, and then after that, if they want more training and detail, you put a price on that. And that's all part of communication because put yourself out there, let people know what you're doing. They're going to be impressed and they'll want to know more.
Yep. And what Jimmy says in the Advanced Replens Mastermind group that we're part of right now is, your time's worth $100 an hour. So you need to think that way. If you're in this business and you're serious about doing it, you need to think in terms of, how am I using my time?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so,
It makes you think twice about like wasting time on Instagram or Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just wasted $100
Right.
of my time. Like,
Right.
you see football and stuff like that.
when you're an entrepreneur, like you have to think that way. You're like, I cannot. I mean, sure, schedule your time to relax, but yeah, it's been a great tip for us.
Yep.
That's awesome. Wow. What other, I love the ABCs. What other advice would you give people who are just getting started, or anything about just your journey?
I mean, if you can do it, if we can do it, you can do it for sure. You don't have to be, this is a very simple business model.
Yeah.
It's very straightforward. I wouldn't, something I was thinking about today was, if you're in the Legends group right now, and we speak to people who are selling at our level and maybe even above, you might be thinking about, it's time for me to quit my full-time job, or you're thinking about it. There are so many incomes out there, so many income streams out there. And maybe you do need to take that leap away from your job. It's holding you back from growing your full-time business. I mean, I did it. I'm still doing it, doing side gigs and stuff like that.
Sure.
But I can use the side gigs to supplement the business until the business is big enough to, for us to be able to hire people out and.
Yeah,
really
but that's
make it
not wasted time either. I'm sure you're listening to podcasts too, that because it's kind of hard. I imagine it's kind of hard to be at home with your family and also listening to podcasts. That's kind of difficult, but you're in the car, it's just you. That's a perfect time to be consuming that content. You can get a university degree in Amazon and e-commerce and business in your car.
Yep. Yeah, I did that the other night. I was just listening to one of the mastermind groups I missed. So I could find out about the other people in the group.
I mean, and God's going to be with you no matter what. If you made the wrong choice or the timing wasn't right, like just pray about it. God's going to be with you. And just sometimes you just have to take that leap of faith and obedience and be able to, okay, now I don't have this thing to consume my time. Now I can focus all on my goal.
Yeah, and I would add something that you guys just said that about your decision to go either the coaching route or the replens route. The replen coaching is follow peace. You guys didn't have peace about that, and then make sure you follow peace in that area, and also make sure your spouse is on board. If you're going to make a decision to quit your job, obviously you both have to have a peace about it, and you both have to be on board too, because you don't want to go home to your wife, honey, I quit my job today. What? Hey, Ryan Rieger here. If you're looking for proven real strategies for making money online, then grab my book, Streams of Income. In it, I detail the 3 main ways to make money online. And these are strategies that students of mine all over the world are using to make real money. And the best part is these are strategies that you can get started with $0 and 0 experience. So if you'd like a free copy of my book, Streams of Income, check out the link in the description below.